Alright folks, here's part 2 of my top 10 favorite My Little Pony characters list. If you haven't seen part 1, you can click right here and it'll take you right back to that video. For those who already seen part 1, there's no need for introductions here, so let's just continue on with the list. Number 5, Twilight Sparkle. I was one of the few people who didn't really mind Twilight's ascension in season 3, and it was one of the most controversial things that ever happened on the show. People who once liked her started to hate her, and the people who already hated her just had more ammunition. To me, however, it wasn't that big of a deal. I was never really worried that Twilight's personality would change or anything. I thought that she was just going to be the same character that she was in the first 3 seasons, and turns out that she still is. I was kind of indifferent to Twilight at first, but when season 2 came out and Lesson 0 first aired, that's when I really started to like her. We get to see a notable quality of Twilight, her obsessive compulsiveness, kicked up to an 11 in this episode, and it was just a joy to watch. A lot of the stigma against Twilight comes from the belief that she's a Mary Sue, and I don't think that's true. To me, a Mary Sue is a character that always achieves their goals without having to go through any hardship or personal growth in order to do so. And we've been shown countless times that Twilight goes through hardship in order to achieve her goals. I would go into more detail about this, but Tommy Oliver has a video about Mary Sue's that pretty much goes over everything. People also say that since Twilight's ascension, the other main 6 members have been pushed off to the side, and I don't really think that's true. If the key episodes in the Rainbow Power Box are any indication, I think the main 6 are all equally important. In short, Twilight's a great character that doesn't deserve some of the hate that she's been getting lately, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of her shenanigans in Season 5. Maybe some more episodes where she's actually being a princess? Can't hurt, right? Number 4, Princess Celestia and Queen Chrysalis. That's right, folks, this one is a tie. I really couldn't decide between one or the other, so I just put both Princess Celestia and Queen Chrysalis in the same slot. First off, we have Celestia, a character that, while still important to the story, we know very little about. Recently, we have gotten some more information about her with the comics, the Journal of the Two Sisters, and Season 4, but still, for the most part, we don't know that much about Celestia yet. But this lack of background on her is what makes me like her so much as a character. There are 3 main traits we know about Celestia for sure. She's kind-hearted, she's protective, and she's mischievous. And a lot of Celestia's portrayals in the comics and in fan fiction take one of these 3 traits and explore it in a deeper level than the show does. A really great portrayal of Celestia is in the Reflections arc of the My Little Pony comics, and I would like to tell you about it, but I don't want to spoil you. At least not in this video anyway. Now onto Chrysalis. She has got to be hands down the best villain in the entire series. She had a great design, a great episode, and a bangin' ass voice. Out of all the antagonists, she has the most villain-like appearance to me. And she's the one villain where, based on her abilities and her appearance, legitimately scares me. When the first arc of the MLP comics turned out to be the return of Queen Chrysalis, I almost died. I was really happy to see her again, and it made me wish that much harder that she appears in the show again soon. Please, DHX, bring Chrissy back. I find it interesting how the fandom is kind of split on how the Changeling Empire runs. The belief that I personally dub the Kingdom headcanon portrays the Changelings as, well, a kingdom, with Chrysalis as their appointed queen. Then there's what I like to call the Hive headcanon, where all the Changelings are the queen's children. Unless I missed something, neither of these headcanons have been confirmed, and I'm leaning more towards the Kingdom headcanon. I also enjoy Chrysalis not just as a villain, but also as a regular character. In a lot of comedic fics featuring her, she plays the sarcastic type of character, and I really like sarcasm. Both Celestia and Chrysalis lend themselves to a variety of different genres, and because of that, they deserve this spot on this list. Number 3, Princess Luna. Taking the number 3 slot is who I consider to be Best Princess. Why is Luna Best Princess? Well, I'll tell you. I feel as though Luna is Best Princess because she's relatable. More so than Twilight even. She's gone through a lot of the painful emotions that people face in real life. Loneliness, rejection, isolation, abandonment. It's pretty safe to say that Luna's been through a lot. She's arguably the most human character in the entire cast. And I use human for lack of a better term. Because of all these character traits, Luna plays off nicely from her more idealistic sister. Celestia is a personification of who we want to be, while Luna is a personification of who we are and the struggles that we face every day. With that being said, it makes sense for Luna to be the one to guide Sweetie Belle and Scootaloo during their respective episodes, and not Celestia. She understood why Scootaloo was so crippled by her fear because she's been in that same position. She understood Sweetie Belle's jealousy of her older sister because she was in that same position. It really isn't any surprise that Luna is one of the most popular characters in the entire series. When it comes to media, people tend to latch on to characters that they can truly relate to, and Luna is one of those kinds of characters. She's also shown to have a fun-loving personality in the comics and in the Journal of the Two Sisters, which shows that she also has an easygoing side to her. Luna just has so many different sides to her that she's just a very enjoyable character, and I really hope to see more of her in Season 5. Okay, so now we're at the final two. Honestly, guys, it was extremely difficult to choose between these two ponies and put one over the other. I really can't gyp you guys and make this a tie for the number one spot, so it took me a lot of consideration, and I've decided which one I like more than the other. So before I go ahead and show you who's number two, just keep in mind how much consideration I had to put into this, and that it was really, really close. With that being said, number two, Rarity. Rarity is kind of a polarizing character within the fan community, and I forgot to mention this about Princess Celestia too. You either love her or you hate her. But unlike Celestia, where I think some of the hate towards her is somewhat justified, I just don't understand why people hate Rarity. Yes, I know she can be a little vain sometimes, but she's always there for her friends when they need her the most. Unlike Rainbow Dash, who bailed at the idea of taking care of Discord despite being the element of loyalty, a lot of people bring up Sweet and Elite and how Rarity supposedly abandons her friends in favor of the Canterlot Elite, but where does that happen? Because in the episode that I saw, Rarity stood up in front of the entire Canterlot Elite and declared that they were her friends and that she would never lead them for anything. That's a pretty ballsy thing to do if you think about it. Here we have Rarity, a mare who, all her life, wanted to be a member of the Canterlot Elite. And when she finally visits Canterlot, she actually achieves that goal. Everything she wanted was right there in her hooves, and yet she threw it away because she didn't want to enjoy this life without her friends around. On top of that, not only is Rarity choosing her friends over her dreams, she's doing it in a way where she's pretty much giving the finger to everybody in the Canterlot Elite, potentially burning all of the bridges that she made in Canterlot for the sake of her friends. So yeah, that's the Sweet and Elite that I was watching. Anyway, Rarity also gets points for having some of the most dynamic voice acting in the entire show. Tabitha St. Germain does a phenomenal job at conveying Rarity's emotions, which we know she has a lot of. And Kazumi Evans also deserves credit for giving Rarity a great singing voice. Remember when I said that people like to latch on to characters that they can relate to? Yeah, Rarity's one of those characters. I've noticed that a lot of Rarity fans tend to be artists or anyone else in the creative field because they can relate to the troubles that Rarity goes through when it comes to being a creator. Specifically those moments where the client you're working for doesn't like what you produced. You can say that Rarity's crying fit and inspiration manifestation was overdramatic all you want, but as a fellow creator, trust me when I say that there is no pain like having your creative work rejected. Besides, seeing Rarity eat ice cream is hella cute. So, since I have all this stuff to say about Rarity, who could possibly be my favorite character over her? Well, you're about to find out, because my number one favorite My Little Pony character is Applejack. Applejack is probably the most underappreciated character in the show, but she deserves recognition because she rounds out the main six. Now, this may be a weird analogy, but just stick with me on this. Imagine the main six as office supplies. Applejack would be the stapler because she holds things together even though she's not used every day. See? Very weird analogy, but hopefully you've gotten my point. Remember back in part 1 where I said that Discord was the second funniest character in the show? Yeah, Applejack is the funniest character in the show. Not just because of the lines she's given, but because she has the funniest facial expressions. Those eyebrows though. While Rarity is the character that I can relate to as an artist, Applejack is the character that I can relate to as a person. She's bluntly honest, sometimes to a fault, she loves her family, and can be really stubborn when things don't go the way she plans them to. Unfortunately, Applejack doesn't have that many good episodes, and it's a shame because she has so much potential. I don't blame the writers though. Applejack can be a hard character to write. Applejack has a very straightforward personality, and as a result of that, her entire character is very straightforward, which is very different from Rarity and Luna, who are more multidimensional. They're difficult to understand, while Applejack is fairly easy to understand, and because of that, it's kinda hard to write her. Applejack works best when she's playing off of other characters, specifically Rarity. The chemistry between those two exceeds any other pair in the series. And those two are also my OTP. Apple Dash, please. It's all about that Rarajack, son. I mean, did you see that part in Look Before You Sleep where they ended up kissing right in front of Twilight? Wait, that didn't happen? Damn it. And I know I kinda strayed away from Applejack and kinda started talking about her and Rarity, but that just further emphasizes the fact that I had a hard time choosing between these two. But in the end, Applejack comes out on top as best pony. Kinda fitting since this month is Applejack month. Now for some honorable mentions. Sweetie Belle, because while I didn't like the CMC at first, she and the others started to grow on me. Maniac, because crazy villains are the best kind. Rainbow Dash, who used to be my least favorite, but she's grown on me since season 3. And Fluttershy, because she's just adorable. But there you have it. Those are my top 10 favorite My Little Pony characters. Feel free to comment on my picks and leave your own top 10 in the comments below. Keep it sketchy, folks, and have a happy Applejacktober.